Before we get into Ovid's retelling of Jason and the Argonauts, there are certain places and people that we need to cover to get us ready to read the story easily and quickly without having to stop for a bunch of background information. Starting off in northern Greece is the city of Yorkis. The king of this town is named Aeson. Aeson is an old man and a good king. Aeson's brother Peleus, in a bitter feud, usurped the throne and threw him, along with Aeson's pregnant wife, in jail, then killed all of Aeson's descendants. Peleus had intended to kill the child when it was born, but they were able to trick Peleus into believing that it was stillborn. Then they gave the baby Jason to a trusted slave who smuggled him out of the city. Jason grew up in exile, and when he returned, he expected to challenge Peleus for the throne, which then sets off this whole quest for the Golden Fleece. One of the first places that the Argo landed was on the Greek island of Lemnos. The women of Lemnos had killed all of the men of the island after they raided neighboring islands in order to find different women to satisfy their lusts. When Jason arrives on the island, he meets and falls in love with the queen Hypsipyle. The men of the Argo stay on this island for an incredibly long time, during which Jason pledges his love to the queen, and they even have 2 children together. Finally, Hercules reminded Jason of greater glory if they could just continue their quest. Jason, without a second thought, abandons Queen Hypsipyle and his 2 children, gets on the boat, and takes off. Next we come to the Hellespont. This small channel of water separates Europe from Asia. Phrixus and his sister Helle fell out of favor with their stepmother Ino. She hated them so much, in fact, that she devised a plot that would get rid of them forever. Ino sabotaged all of the crop seeds so that when it was planted, it wouldn't grow. The farmers were terrified of famine, and they wanted to go to the oracle to find out what they could do. Ino bribed the men that were sent to the oracle to come back with a lie, blaming it on her stepchildren, Phrixus and Helle. The farmers were so angry that they intended to kill these 2. The twins, however, were rescued by a flying golden ram, which had been sent by their natural mother, the nymph Nephele. Unfortunately, Helle fainted and fell from the ram as it was flying, drowning in the sea that now bears her name, the Hellespont. Phrixus continued on until he reached the end of the Black Sea and the kingdom of Colchis, where he was treated very well, and even married into the royal family. He sacrificed the ram in gratitude to the gods, and then presented the fleece to the king, who placed it in a grove sacred to the god Ares. Moving from the Hellespont, we enter into the Sea of Marmara, otherwise known as the Propontus. Here, Jason and his crew found King Phineus, who was harassed by harpies who were preventing the king from ever eating by stealing all of his food and ruining by defecating on what was ever left. Jason had in his crew one of the sons of the West Wind, who flew up and was able to defeat these harpies. Phineus was so happy to get rid of these things that he told Jason how to beat the next obstacle in his way. Moving out of the Propontus, we enter now into the Bosphorus. At the mouth of the Bosphorus are the Symplegades, otherwise known as the Clashing Rocks, which smash together whenever a boat tries to pass between them. Phineus gave them advice to send a bird through first, and to row their boat as fast as possible just as the rocks were coming back apart. This way, they were able to make it through to the other end of the rocks before they could reset and clash again. Entering into the Black Sea, it's a fairly straight shot all the way to the kingdom of Colchis. The king of Colchis is a man named Aeetes and his daughter Medea. This land, at the end of the world, is filled with barbarous and uncivilized people. Having reached the land in which the Golden Fleece can finally be found, Jason could try to steal it. He could try to bargain for it. But what happens is actually quite unexpected. The Princess Medea betrays her family and her home in order to aid this stranger Jason, and basically gives it to him. But that's where we need to enter into the book and find out the specifics. We'll find out more about this later.